To the United States now, and while Tesla boss Elon Musk has been busy shaking things up with his Department of Government Efficiency, here in Europe, his car business was in the headlines this week.
Tesla is falling apart, and even Elon Musk seems to know it. Sales are plummeting, down 60% in Germany and even slipping in California. The Cybertruck is turning into disaster, and Tesla's profits rely on risky loopholes that won't last. With investors panicking and government support fading, the real question is, can Tesla survive the crash? In the United States, Tesla took a serious hit with an 11.6% decline in January alone. That might not sound like the end of the world at first, but when you consider that California, Tesla's strongest market, is included in that drop, it starts looking much worse. If Tesla can't even hold on to its dominance in a place where electric cars are practically a way of life, where exactly is it supposed to thrive? The company has relied on the California market for years, with tax incentives, a tech-savvy population, and an early adopter mindset keeping sales strong. But even that safety net is starting to vanish.
75%. Germany, of course, comes to mind because Musk campaigned for the far-right AfD in elections last weekend, and they are now the second.
Germany, which once embraced Tesla with open arms, has now turned its back on the company. Sales have plummeted a staggering 60%. Just a year ago, Tesla was the top-selling EV brand in the country, with the Model Y leading the charge. But in January, that all changed. Germans are buying fewer Teslas, and they aren't switching to another American brand either. They're choosing local competitors like Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes, who have all stepped up their EV game. When you're an American car company and you lose Germany, you're losing a huge chunk of your potential European market. Things aren't much better in Britain and China either. In Britain, sales fell by 10%, while in China, a market Tesla has spent years trying to conquer, they dropped 11.5%. That's particularly bad news because China is the largest EV market in the world. And with strong competition from Chinese EV makers like BYD, NIO, and Xpeng, Tesla is getting pushed out of the game fast. Tesla has always been a bit of an odd company when it comes to making money. You'd think their profits come from selling cars, right? Well, not exactly. A lot of Tesla's financial success has been built on a foundation that has very little to do with actually making and selling vehicles, and that foundation is starting to crumble.
Over the past few months, it's now below that. One thing you might be thinking, well, if they're not talking about Teslas, if they're not buying Teslas, they're actually buying other EVs, Errol, China's MG.
One of Tesla's most bizarre revenue sources has been Bitcoin. Back in 2021, Musk made headlines by announcing that Tesla had bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin's value skyrocketed, Tesla made a fortune, on paper at least. But Bitcoin's price is unpredictable, and the crypto market is famously volatile. Relying on Bitcoin profits to keep Tesla afloat was never a sustainable business strategy, and once the market cooled, Tesla's crypto gains disappeared just as quickly as they had appeared. It was just a lucky bet on a speculative asset. Then there's the carbon credit loophole. For years, Tesla has been making billions not from selling cars, but from selling carbon credits to other automakers. Because Tesla produces only electric vehicles, it earns these credits, which it then sells to companies that need to meet emissions regulations. It's an easy way to rake in cash, but here's the problem. Those carbon credit sales won't last forever. As more automakers start producing their EVs and hybrids, they won't need to buy Tesla's carbon credits anymore. And when that happens, a major source of Tesla's income is going to vanish. And then there's the AI hype train. Elon Musk has spent years promising that Tesla is on the verge of delivering groundbreaking self-driving technology. He's hyped up Tesla's full self-driving software as if it's just months away from revolutionizing transportation. Problem? We've been hearing that for years, and FSD is still far from being truly autonomous. Tesla charges thousands of dollars for FSD, yet it still requires human intervention, still makes dangerous mistakes, and still isn't close to what Elon has promised. At some point, investors are going to stop believing the hype, and when that happens, Tesla's stock price, which has been inflated by AI promises, will take a serious hit.
Franz, could you try to break this glass, please? Yeah. Sure? Yeah.
When Elon Musk first introduced the Cybertruck back in 2019, it was supposed to be revolutionary, a futuristic, indestructible electric truck that would change the auto industry forever. But fast forward to today, and the reality is a lot uglier. Not only is the Cybertruck facing massive production issues and delays, but there's a new problem. It might just be one of the most dangerous vehicles on the road. New reports have revealed that the Cybertruck has an insanely high fatality rate, 14.5 deaths per 100,000 units. To put that into perspective, that's 17 times worse than the Ford Pinto, one of the most infamous car disasters in history. The Pinto, which gained notoriety for its tendency to burst into flames when rear-ended, had a fatality rate of 0.85 per 100,000 units. The fact that Cybertruck's fatality rate is so much higher is beyond alarming. Part of the problem comes down to design and rush production. Back in the 1970s, Ford pushed the Pinto to market before properly testing it, leading to deadly consequences. Sound familiar? The Cybertruck has been plagued with delays for years, and when Musk finally delivered the first units, it became clear that Tesla had rushed the process just to meet demand. Instead of focusing on safety and reliability, Tesla seems to have been more concerned with keeping up appearances and delivering something, even if that something wasn't ready for the road.
High this summer, up 11% from last year, but now there's growing concern that a second Trump administration could literally pull the plug on all that progress.
In California, like him or hate him, Donald Trump's return to the White House isn't exactly great news for Tesla. If there's one thing Trump has made very clear, it's that he's not a big fan of electric vehicles. While previous administrations have pushed for government incentives to help EV companies like Tesla thrive, Trump has been very vocal about his opposition to pouring federal money into what he calls a failing industry. That's bad news for Tesla, a company that has relied heavily on government support to stay competitive. For years, Tesla has benefited from federal tax credits that make its cars much more affordable for consumers. These incentives have played a huge role in Tesla's success because, let's be real here, EVs are still expensive compared to traditional gas-powered cars. Without those financial breaks, a lot of people might think twice before dropping tens of thousands of dollars on a Tesla. If Trump pulls the plug on these incentives, Tesla's sales could take another hit, making an already bad situation even worse. Government subsidies haven't just helped Tesla sell cars, they've also been crucial to its infrastructure. The expansion of EV charging stations across the country has been backed by billions of dollars in federal funding. Tesla's supercharger network is one of its biggest advantages over competitors, but it's not cheap to build and maintain. If Trump shifts funding away from EV infrastructure, Tesla might struggle to expand its network at the pace it needs to keep up with growing competition. And if charging a Tesla becomes more inconvenient, even more customers might opt for hybrid or traditional gas-powered vehicles instead. People love to talk about how Tesla is saving the planet. It's one of the biggest selling points of electric vehicles. The idea that they're a cleaner, more sustainable alternative to gas-powered cars. But if you take a closer look, the truth is a little more complicated. Tesla might not be as green as it claims to be, and there's some serious environmental concerns that get swept under the rug. One major issue is the pollution caused by Tesla's factories. Producing electric vehicles, especially at the scale Tesla does, isn't exactly a zero-emission process. Manufacturing EVs requires massive amounts of energy, and Tesla's factories still rely on fossil fuels to operate. Tesla's gigafactories, which are responsible for churning out hundreds of thousands of cars and batteries, consume an enormous amount of electricity. Some of that comes from renewable sources, but a lot of it still comes from coal, natural gas, and other non-renewable energy sources. The result? Tesla's production process still has a significant carbon footprint. So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.